The modern metagame is crumbling thanks to Cascade decks, but there is still hope. Daddy's 5-color human deck, which means this is the first time we're visiting the deck since we birthed it into the world, and it became the #1 deck in Modern practically overnight. But first, let's relive the creation of our masterpiece, because in the world we live in today, every memory is a good memory. Rewind to 4 years ago, paper tournaments were everything, and pro Magic players are worshipped as demigods thanks to years of WotC marketing.
He's been on the tour 3 straight months. It's a constant mental drain. You gotta be focused every day.
Turn force and tap this. Block here, block here, block here. Come on, you get sloppy. What are you doing?
Who's the fast talker?
That's Mike. He starts playing as fast as he can once he sees a weakness.
Flip it. Call. Call it.
We're pretty serious.
Well, this is their livelihood. If they don't win, they don't eat.
See the guy watching? That's Hammer. His opponents say he's psychic. He watches for patterns that people fall into. By the time he plays you, he knows what you're thinking and what you're going to do better than you do.
If you buy enough Magic cards, you too can get your dick sucked. Meanwhile, the rest of us Magic players on the internet were seen as irrelevant background noise, and the way the modern metagame used to play out would be this. A new set would release, but rather than the new cards seeing a ton of play right away, new cards would slowly trickle into Magic Online decks. And even when new cards got good results online, the results were largely ignored because there was so little trust in internet Magic compared to paper tournaments. And when paper tournaments did come around after a set's release, pro players almost always avoided running new cards in their deck, instead opting for traditional deck lists that have been around for years. So then the Magic community would look at the paper tournament's results and say, well, the pro players aren't playing with the new cards, so I guess they're unplayable after all. And so the excitement for the new cards would dwindle, and the metagame would quickly revert back to deck lists from before the new sets released, creating a negative feedback loop in the modern metagame that resisted changes. Now fast forward to 2017's Ixalan release. Kitesail Freebooter and Unclaimed Territory are spoiled in early September. Both are largely written off because they're worse versions of cards already printed. And even after 2 weeks since Ixalan was released, there are still no 5-color human decks. So I scored out my 5-color humans deck, posted a video on it several days later, and a lot of people really did not like the deck, because back then, anything more than 3 colors was seen as unplayable due to Acro decks and Blood Moon, and the lack of powerful cards we now have today that make 4 to 5 color decks viable. Plus, a creature deck without collected company was pretty unheard of, so I expected that was the last we'd ever see of the deck, and you can imagine my shock when 5 days later, Magic Pro player Collins Mullen takes Daddy's 5-color human deck and wins a big SCG Modern Open tournament. Now that the deck is endorsed by a pro Magic player, 5-color humans explodes in popularity, and is the #1 most played deck in Modern throughout 2018, including 2018's Modern Pro Tour, until finally being dethroned in 2019 by busted graveyard decks. But what is the real significance of all of this? Because Humans was not a busted deck, or a well-loved deck, or even a clever deck, but its significance is that the story of 5-color Humans is symbolic of the shift away from the idea that regular players cannot influence the metagame. Because what I find most crazy about all of this is that 5-color Humans never needed Kitesail Freebooter or Unclaimed Territory because there were so many alternatives that were just as viable, which means that 5-color Humans should have been a top-tier deck a full 19 months earlier. And it certainly could have been if it were not for the over-reliance on pro players to dictate the metagame, because WotC made pro players play every format. They had to master Standard, Modern, Legacy, Draft, and Sealed, on top of all the traveling to tournaments, so how were pro players supposed to find time to brew new decks? And even if they did come up with one, would they really be able to win with it against opponents who have practiced their traditional decks for hundreds of hours? Hell no. Ultimately, 5-color Humans marks Magic's transition away from its dependence on the Pro Tour, for better or for worse, to the digital world today, in which online Magic is taken much more seriously. My brain hurts. So enough story time, let's get to today's deck. 5-color Humans. There is no deck better geared towards stopping Cascade decks, because we have Meddling Mage, which prevents a card from being cast, and then Thalia, who taxes non-creature spells, and Kitesail Freebooter to steal non-creature spells, and Phantasmal Image to copy that stuff, and then there's the rest of the old gang, including the newcomers General Geezer and Realmwalker, which allows us to play creatures from the top of our library. I really hope this is enough to stop Cascade decks, but if not, we have more answers in the sideboard. There's Drannith Magistrate, which shuts off Cascade, Trickery, and Tibalt. Gaddock Teague also stops Tibalt from being cast, and if that isn't enough, we also have Magus of the Moon. Most Cascade decks are like 4 colors, so you know, it shuts off the lands, including ours, but at least we have Aether Vial and Noble Hierarch, and in case we run into decks that aren't Cascade, a deck that's not Cascade, I know, it's crazy. That's probably not gonna happen, but you know, there's Auriok Champion and Plague Engineer and this hoe. I mean, a deck that isn't Cascade. Oh god. So now let's go try and save the metagame from Cascade. Be sure to subscribe if you like story time. But without further ado, here's the gameplay, and I hope you enjoy. Opening hand, we have a turn 1 Vial, so we're gonna keep. Opponent plays a land and passes. How about we Violent Champion and play Thalia? Cool. Opponent shocks and plays Valky. I imagine I'll take the Freebooter here. Yeah. We pull Mantis Rider, but I think it's time to spank Lieutenant. And with the triggers on the stack, Phantasmal Image, copying Lieutenant. That's a lot of triggers. Swing for 10. And until I get rid of Thalia, I don't think they'll build the Cascade into Tibalt. And our opponent agrees. I'm going into game 2. We're gonna hurt the combo even more. Bringing in Magistrate and Gaddock and without, let's go to game 2. Opening hand's okay, we'll keep. We pull Noble, but we'll start with Vial. And what? Cascading already. I think we're in trouble. We'll play Lieutenant and Champion, and then pass back. They exile Lieutenant, they shock, and stomp our Champion. We pull Meddling Mage. How about we draw? Play Hierarch, and pass back. Oh, and it's Valky. We'll Vial on the Mage, naming Bone Crusher. Oh, but they exile our Mage. And they're even casting our Lieutenant. And yep, I think they got us. So we're going to game 3. On game 3, no change to sideboard. And this seems a little disappointing. So Maul. And yeah, I guess this could work. Play Champion. Want to be passing. Hierarch out. We try the Magistrate. Swing for 2. And pass back. And please, no more removal. Okay, they're passing back. Land nice. We'll play Noble. And then yet another Magistrate. Hooray. Swing for 5. And just please, no Anger of the Gods. Land number 3. And ooh, an Uro. But the Magistrate will stop the Uro from coming back. How interesting. We pull a Grove. We'll draw a card. And a Noble Hierarch. At this point, I think the number one concern here is Supreme Verdict. Even though they could have Fire Spout or something. But I think safest move. Noble Meddling Mage. Naming Supreme Verdict. Swing for 8. And what shall our opponent do now? They fetch down the 2. What? Omnath. Okay. And they're gonna get to fetch here. So we'll gain 4 life and make 4 mana. And they play another Uro. Okay. That is a lot of life gain. But now they're passing back. Oh, yes. That shuts off basically everything. So here's what we'll do. Swing for 8. They're at 8 life, so they're gonna have to block here. Cool. And now Gaddock Teague. What a nightmare for our opponent, but they could have board wipe, and that would make me sodden punts. Oh, no board wipe, there's a match. It feels pretty good. And what more could we have asked for? And may this spanking continue. Opening hand, a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, so we're gonna keep. Oh, opponent shocks and passes. Interesting. It's probably a Lightning Bolt. Well, I guess let's draw it out of them. Oh, no Lightning Bolt. Is this a Living End deck? Most likely. So we better get that Meddling Mage out. Opponent passes. Swing for 4. And now say hello to Meddling Mage. Opponent cycles. And they cycle. The now named Living End. Oh, and we guessed right. Going into game 2, let's bring him straight in without. Let's go to game 2. Opening hand, we do have Meddling Mage. So we'll keep. Opponent cycles. Play Noble, nice. Play Noble. Another cycle. Another cycle. And now Meddling Mage. I wonder if they brought in Valky, though. They wouldn't do that to us. Now, old name Living End. Swing for 1. Disease. Opponent shocks. Uh-oh. Oh, no. What? Wait, I'm so confused. They try and play the Living End. Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't work. And my mama says, better to be safe than pregnant. Old name Supreme Verdict. And then Phantasmal Image. And gosh, we're running out of things to name. Anger of the Gods. No. Fire Spout? Or maybe just Living End again. We'll name Fire Spout. Swing for 3. And now back to opponent. Oh, opponent shocks. Are you gonna hard cast a creature? What are they doing? They tried to cast Living End again. We'll have to pray for them. And there's a concede. So beyond to the next one. Opening hand is very nice, so we're gonna keep. Start with Noble. Pull Vial. Let's try to speed to victory. Champion. Lieutenant. Cool. Opponent passes. We'll land. And I guess, swing for 4. We'll hold on to Reflector Mage. Play Vial and pass back. Oh, and they bounce our Champion. Interesting. Now opponent passes back, but we'll draw another Champion and another Champion. Oh, so we'll Champion, and swing for 4. And opponent casts the Borrower. And on their turn, they opt. They tickle us for 3. And on their end step, we'll Violin Champion. Oh, and there's a concede. Going into game 2, we'll bring in some anti-control stuff. Dumping the Reflector Mages, and with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand is so very sexy. We're gonna keep. And will we see Force Negation? Nope, an opt. And Val comes out to play. Oh, never mind. But at least we have Cavern. Now, the trouble is that we don't really know what they are. Maybe like a Blood Moon deck that's control. So should we name Blood Moon? Yeah, I guess we kind of have to. Because if they play Blood Moon, our Chiefs will get clapped when it passes. And Thalia, nice. Let's first play Champion. Oh, with the counter. That's okay, because we have Thalia. Swing for 2. I'm back to opponent. His land tapped and passes. And nice a basic. How about we play the old geezer? Our opponent remands, but it won't go back to hand. Instead, they just draw a card. We'll eat their braid. Swing for 6. Oh, and there's the match. A pretty quick one now. It's on to the next one. Opening hand seems alright. We're gonna keep. And just hope they're a non-creature deck. Oh, and it's Gemstone. I wonder what kind of deck they are. Could it be Cascade? We'll play Thalia. Swing for 2. And back to opponent. Passes. Land. We'll play Booty. Oh, and look at this. That's a lot of Cascade. The Colondeer is actually kind of cool. Pretty good in the Tibalt mirror match, but against us, not so much. So we'll steal an Outburst, swing for 5, and as long as we play the second Booty next turn, we'll be able to postpone their Cascade. A homegirl what? Thalia's out, so they can't cast Tibalt, but they will cast Valky probably. Not sure if they meant to do that, but they do grab our Booty. It wouldn't be the first time. Play Noble, swing for Nutload, play Vial, and let's see what they do here. They play land tapped, and now swing. They chump, putting them at 1, but now the Booty. Oh, and they did draw another Cascade card. Interesting. What a fondling. Going into game 2, I was tempting to bring in the Magus. We'll hold off on it, and we'll just dump this for this and go to game 2. Opening hand is balls. We're gonna maul. Oof, not the greatest. Valky. We pull Vial, nice. Play it. Oh, opponent plays Valky. That's no fun. Taking our Thalia. So you know what? Play Image. Popping their Valky. Oh, and I felt pretty cool there for a second when I saw those creatures in hand. Then I saw these things. Yep. And you know, I think we're gonna go to game 3. Going into game 3, let's surprise our opponent. Bring in the Magus for this, and with us, go to game 3. Opening hand's alright. We'll keep. Start Noble. Opponent passes. So in that case, Thalia. Swing for 1 and pass back. Oh, and look at them. It's Valky 3. Taking our Magistrate. Oh, but look at this. Kitesail. Oh, and that's a lot of creatures. We can only take timely reinforcements. No Cascade, but Brazen Borrow is kind of an oopsie poopsie. Gotta watch out for that hoe. So we'll swing for 3. Opponent takes it, and we'll hold off on booty. Opponent passes back. We'll draw. Okay. And a Thalia, nice. We'll swing for 3. Opponent takes it. Play champion, and might as well play the booty. Although there's nothing to take from hand. And will they bounce our Thalia? No, the booty. I guess they want some creature tokens. Indeed. Got a Teague, cool. Swing for 2. Play Teague, and back to opponent. Oh, opponent shocks. And they swing. What? Why? Blocks like that? Oh, and Fire Spout. That wipes our board. Except for Kitesail Freebooter. Opponent's Valky steals a Drannith. Oh, we'll swing for 1. Play Vial, and Thalia. Uh-oh. Beast not good. They get Tibalt. Exiling top cards of our library. Ooh, Supreme Verdict. That is a problem. Guess draw. Not bad. We'll go both at Tibalt. Tibalt goes to 4, back to opponent. Opponent exiles top of the library, and oof, Ardent Plea. Although they might be out of Valkyries for the Cascade. And no Supreme Verdict. We pull champion. Oh, I just realized I could turn Valky into Drannith. That's not good. 1 at Tibalt. They flash in the Brazen. They trade, sure. What if we do something extremely risky here? This could very much fail. Play champion, Noble, and we'll have to bank on them using Tibalt before they play the Supreme Verdict. Assuming they activate Tibalt first, we can Vial and Meddling Mage and shut off the Supreme Verdict. Okay, that actually might work. They activate Tibalt. In response, Meddling Mage, naming Supreme Verdict. We lose our Vial. But now they'd be in a tough spot. They have 2 cards in hand. They don't want to lose Valky because if we get Drannith back, they won't be able to play stuff from exile. I wonder if they'll just play the creatures to chump. That might be their best shot. But as soon as they use Tibalt to exile Meddling Mage, then they could go Supreme Verdict. Now what? They have another Valky? But they already had 3. Oh, they have a 4th one. How unfortunate. Why did they exile Thalia? Why? Can they play it? Okay. Oh, and look at that. Play Lieutenant. Now here's where things get chonky. If we attack all at Tibalt, they'll most likely lose it. But if we do attack all at Tibalt, they'll probably double block our Meddling Mage and then follow up with the Supreme Verdict. But I guess we don't have much choice. Swing all at Tibalt, and they don't kill the Meddling Mage. And they can just play Magistrate next turn. Then our cheeks might still be safe. One exile top cards of the library. Oh, and Teferi. Teferi might actually do us in here. Yeah, because they can bounce our Meddling Mage and then wipe the board. We were close there for a second, but 4 Tibalts in a deck to deal with, even though our entire deck is geared towards it, it's just too much. And I feel so much worse for the rest of the metagame because, like, we have answers. A lot of answers. But if someone's like mono green elves, what are they going to do against Tibalt? Nothing. And I'm trying to imagine a scenario where Cascade doesn't need to be banned, whether it's Cascade in the Tibalt or Tibalt's Trickery, but that's just not a scenario I can imagine because our Tibalt Trickery deck is like turn 1 Emrakul Surprise, and the Tibalt Planeswalker deck is like turn 2 Surprise. I have Oko again, but it's on steroids this time. And if Oko is too strong for Modern, then how is it that Tibalt is not too strong for Modern? So I think the most likely outcome is that Wizards will ban Cascade cards that cost 3, but then keep Bloodburied legal as a way of saying you could hit Tibalt, but you have to have 4 mana for it, so it's not as busted. And there we have it. I think that's a good place to end it. And I'm sure the work we've done today will give our cascading opponents many nightmares. But for now, that is all. And as always, I hope you have a great day.